Hello. Hello everyone and welcome to the annual Interhealth Collectives and Exchange Night. Thank you very much for your attendance today, and we hope this can be a valuable hour of your time for your upcoming electives either this year or next year. We have a number of special guests this evening, and we'd like to thank them all very much in advance for taking the time out to speak today and imparting important information for everyone here. Just another note, after the speeches we'll have food and drink in the foyer out here, and also some of the stalls will still be here giving out information if you missed out on anything. But other than that, we'd like to welcome you and we hope you have a good night. First of all, I'd like to pay my respects to the traditional owners of the land on which we are gathered today, and pay our respects on behalf of everyone here. Our first speaker tonight is a current medical student who has been away for the last year around the world doing a lot of cool things, and he has some important information about some opportunities that you can undertake on elective with non-government organisations in terms of volunteering and internship opportunities. So if you can please welcome to the stage Mr. Nick Watts.
This is why I should check my slides. Sorry, this is adapted from an old presentation. So yeah, I'm going to talk very quickly about volunteering with NGOs, non-governmental organisations, and with IGOs, intergovernmental organisations, so groups like the UN. And so to start you off, I'd like to direct everyone to a resource that AMSA, the Australian Medical Students Association, made last year, a guide to working abroad, particularly sort of tailored to Australian medical students and junior doctors with a bit of a global health or a majority world focus. And the book runs through sort of the different ways to contribute. It talks about sort of different regions that you can look at and what each region might have to offer students, logistics, some of the ethical considerations, and provides a good sort of list of contacts for people to have a look at. So that's available free. It was published as a supplement in the EMG, or an e-supplement with the MJA, and if you search up a guide to working abroad, it comes up as your first search. So working with NGOs, the guide starts out and it says that there are sort of 4 broad settings you can look to work in. You can look to work in a humanitarian setting, and so, for example, a refugee camp or a refugee centre. You can look to work in a development setting, and so this would be something like a rural clinic or an urban hospital, or maybe a specialist short-term clinic that's set up in an emergency situation. You can look to work in a well-resourced setting, what you sort of hear called Western hospitals. So, and then you can look to work in a non-clinical setting, public health, research, technical work, policy work. And that's that. The book covers through a number of ethical considerations that I think are sort of worth everyone having a look at, and that's involved with medical students going overseas to engage in medical work, particularly in majority world nations, but also in high-income countries. And it talks about the kind of pre-departure training that you should be looking to seek out, and a lot of that is provided, for example, tonight, or by Interhealth. It talks about ethical conduct, cultural safety, and it talks about the need for a sustainable relationship with the organisations that you're looking to partner with. But so the non-governmental organisations, I suppose the difference with them as opposed to intergovernmental is the flexibility that they provide for the volunteer, and the fact that they're really a grassroots organisation. They're very connected on the ground, and so when you're picking the kind of group that you might want to go do your elective or volunteer with, you want to think, do I want to be working at the local level or an international level, with a small or a large NGO, a religious or secular NGO, and a clinical or in a non-clinical setting. And these are sort of the four big questions that the guide starts to lay out for students. And then we've just got here, these are seven or so different places that medical students in the last 3 or 4 years have gone to do a bit of volunteering and to either go on their elective or in their own free time. And they've sort of come back and reported that the sort of experience that was offered was a really positive one for them, and something that they definitely recommend to other students. So there's them appropriate for years 1 through 3 and 4 to 6. And I'm happy to talk to anyone about getting in contact with people from these organisations if anyone's interested. And then the intergovernmental organisations, and I won't talk a huge amount about them because I think we've got Josh Vogel up front who's going to be talking about working or interning with the World Health Organization. But for the IGOs, they're going to be primarily non-clinical, and they're going to be about sort of bigger picture healthcare, some of those broader determinants of health. And then the choices that you might want to sort of think about is, do you want to be working with a technical agency like the World Health Organization, or an implementation agency that's on the ground delivering aid like the World Food Programme or the High Commission for Refugees? And then again, do you want to be working in the headquarters, the field, or do you want to be working in research, policy development, or project management? And those are sort of the 3 big fields that maybe they engage in. I've got the last sort of 2 slides is a list of organisations or a series of organisations that InterHealth has a sort of link with or a partnership with. And this partnership's either through the International Federation of Medical Students Associations, the IFMSA, or it's through sort of personal links. And what it'll provide, they will have internship and volunteering opportunities that students can engage in. But through these sort of links that InterHealth has with them, it's a separate quota that they can provide for you. And so they have a quota sort of provided specifically for students within this, medical students within Australia that you can access or get into through InterHealth. And they've got projects that are specifically tailored to the needs and the skills of medical students. So these are sort of useful things to have a look at, and you've got a fairly good chance if it's something that you're interested in. So there's FPA, the UN populations is what it's called, UNAIDS, the WHO, and specifically in the WHO with the Departments of Public Health, Environment, Communications, Human Resources for Health and Access to Essential Medicines. The UNDP Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs over in New York, the High Commission on Human Rights and the High Commission on Refugees. So these are all sort of organisations, like I said, that we've got a strong link with. And if anyone is interested in heading over to them and thinks that it might be something that they'd like to have a go at for their elective or over their summer break, they usually sort of do internships for 6 to 12 weeks. And I think, Josh, you're going to go into that a bit more, yeah. And would be happy to try and set you, I'm sure InterHealth would be happy to try and set you guys up and find you a mentor or a supervisor over in whichever country these organisations are based. And that's wrong again, sorry. Any questions? And there's my email address. Thank you very much. Any questions? Cool. Thank you.